Hello friends, hope you are doing good. My name is Shashank. In the last video, we saw how Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj defeated Afzal Khan with his unique strategies. And now, the current ruler of Bijapur, Ali Adil Shah II, was in a devastating shock. But one of the most skilled, qualified, experienced ministers of his court, Afzal Khan, could not defeat Shivaji Maharaj. In fact, Adil Shah was in a great trouble and fear. At that moment, another minister named Siddhi Johar showed up. Siddhi Johar made huge promises to Adil Shah. He told him that he'll sure bring Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in chains to Bijapur. He also explained some of his tactics to Adil Shah to arrest Shivaji Maharaj. Adil Shah was certainly impressed. Hence, he sent Siddhi Johar with an army whose count extended from 30 to 35,000 to arrest Shivaji Maharaj. In this army, many ministers were included. One of them was Fazil Khan, Afzal Khan's son. Unlike Afzal Khan, Fazil Khan and Siddhi Johar marched towards Swarajya. On the other side, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj at that period of time were only having an army which counted around 15,000. And now, after Afzal Khan's attack, a new and more terrific threat was coming up for Swarajya. But were Maharaj scared? Of course not. The moment they came to know about Siddhi Johar's invasion, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj quickly shifted to Panhalgarh. But why only Panhalgarh? Let's see why. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had a blur idea of Siddhi Johar's power. Thus, they searched a fort which is located in the middle of Sahyadri. And as we all know that Sahyadri is one of the most dense areas in terms of nature in India. Hence, there was a chance that Siddhi Johar may regret coming there once as Afzal Khan did. The second reason was that Panhalgarh at that time was a fort with the most appliances and resources for survival in terrific conditions, which was a crucial plus point. Panhalgarh, in fact, is a huge fort. It is a highly challenging job to achieve this fort. In case of any danger, it was possible to move to Konkan easily anytime. In the west direction of the fort were the Masai Pathar, and in the north direction of the fort there was no scarcity of immensely dense forests and mountains touching the sky. Upon that, in the next 3 months, monsoon season was coming. Thus, there was a chance that Siddhi Johar may go back due to the harsh conditions in monsoon season. Keeping all of these points in the mind, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj felt that the finest decision at that time would be staying at Panhalgarh. Siddhi Johar had also reached the forest of Panhala following Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's footsteps. The moment he reached there, he started seizing that area. Just in one day, the complete area was fully blocked. There was not even a space for a single ant to in or out from the fort. It felt like there was no difference in a home jail and the siege of Siddhi Johar. The siege was pretty tight. In the west direction were Siddhi Johar, Fazil Khan, Sadat Khan and Rustam-e-Zaman. In the east direction of the fort were Baji Ghorpade, Bhai Khan, Fazil Khan and Peed Nayak. The siege was pretty tight from the north and south direction too. Thus, there was no chance of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj escaping the fort or letting anyone enter the fort. Siddhi Johar had also started the preparations for the monsoon season. And also, he was constantly attacking on the fort with cannons and other weapons. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj were also responding to Siddhi Johar by sending few small pieces of army to attack on them. But probably nothing was resulting useful due to Johar's defensive measures. Upon that, Few weeks later, Siddhi Johar borrowed long-range cannons and other effective weapons from Britishers, which eventually started damaging the fort. Now 4 months had been passed since Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj were locked at Panhalgarh. 1 month had passed since the start of monsoon, but it felt like Johor's siege just started. I mean that the siege was as strong and as strict as it had been since the start. Slowly Maharaj started to feel that it is impossible to escape from Panhalgarh. But did Maharaj give up? Of course not. After months of making strategies, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj sent few detectives to find out a way to Vishalgarh. Why Vishalgarh? Because Vishalgarh so far was the fort which was located very near to Panhalgarh. After few days of inspection, it was figured out that there is a thin and rocky route which leads to Vishalgarh. Compared to other roads and routes, this road has less amounts of guards due to its thin, tight and rocky nature. If it is so, then why to waste time? One rainy night, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and their whole army sprinted towards Vishalgarh. But there was a plan behind it too. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj knew that there are pieces of army of Johor and the Mughal ministers that keep an eye on the happenings of the forest day and night. Thus, there was no chance of Raje escaping from Panhalgarh without letting Johor know about it. And that's what happened. Few hours later, the Maratha force noticed the Mughal soldiers coming towards them. But Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's intelligence was way beyond Mughal army's ambitions. The moment they came to know, they quickly started to run as fast as they could and left a soldier named Shiva Kashid with few other soldiers. Shiva Kashid looked very similar to Maharaj. One who had not seen Maharaj many times or not seen Maharaj properly, he often used to get mistaken by Kashid as Chhatrapati. And that's what happened with the Mughal soldiers. They mistook Shiva Kashid as Chhatrapati and took him to Johor's camp back to Panhalgarh. The moment they reached Johor's camp, it was figured out that the person the Mughal soldiers have bought isn't Chhatrapati, but a common soldier from the Maratha force. The moment they came to know about it, Kashid's head was chopped off there itself. With Kashid's death, the most agile Mughal soldiers and top ministers of the Mughal court ran towards Shivaji Maharaj. Unfortunately, the speed of covering distance of the Mughal army was way faster than Maharaj's army. Thus, once more the Mughal force was very close to Chhatrapati's soldiers. Now Maharaj were in a great trouble and fear. Maharaj were not able to find any solution to get rid of the Mughal soldiers. At that moment, a loyal minister, Baji Prabhu Deshpande, showed up and said, "Your Majesty, you may give half of your army to me. I'll keep them entangled here until you reach Vishalgarh. The moment you reach there, please send a signal with the sounds of cannon that you've reached there. Then we'll also come to Vishalgarh." At first, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj strongly disagreed. But when other soldiers and other ministers also forced Maharaj to give permission to Baji Prabhu Deshpande, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had to agree. Raje, putting all of their faith in Baji Prabhu Deshpande, sprinted towards Vishalgarh. On the other side, Baji Prabhu Deshpande and their army was fighting relentlessly, all for Maharaj. 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed, 3 hours passed, but there was no sign of sounds of cannon. But still, There was also no sign of Baji Prabhu's army getting tired. Many of the Maratha soldiers were severely injured. The blood was literally flowing from Baji Prabhu Deshpande's body. But they didn't stop there. After hours of battle and wars, finally the sounds of cannon emerged from the west direction. With the sounds of cannon, the soul from Baji Prabhu Deshpande's body left in the feeling of satisfaction of Maharaj being saved. So friends, in this video, we saw what were the patience of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. We saw the teamwork of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the leadership of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. We came to know that how brave were Shiva Kashid and Baji Prabhu Deshpande. If you liked today's video, then please make sure that you like this video and subscribe our channel and turn on the bell icon to enjoy the latest Safa content. Jai Shivrai!